This is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Hello, friends. John Solberg here. I am your host for the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. I'm always happy to tell you that this show is brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought-after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets that are always handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for more than 15 years. Every week they're shipping out competition quality meats to many of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use the Butcher Shop win, and they win often. Even if you're not a competitor, you deserve these finer cuts. Great news for you. The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of the backyard. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock. And again, always hand-picked just for you. Let's review. The best competition briskets? Check. Best pork selection? Check. Giving you better overall options to cook at home? Check. So give the Butcher Shop a call today, 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. You can also check them out over on Facebook, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Shop is spelled SHOPPE. You be sure to mention the BBQ Central Show. You're getting 10% off your entire order each and every time you call. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets. And today we're going to take a jump back to September in 2018. Greg's going to catch up with Iowa Smoky D's Darren Worth.
All right, my first guest tonight has added yet another American Royal Open Grand Championship to their list of titles. This past weekend makes it number 3. Here to recap the weekend and their season so far. Heading back to the hotline, we welcome friend of the show and pitmaster of Iowa's Smoky D's, Darren Worth. Darren, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Darren. Appreciate you making time for the show, as always. And, you know, I'm constantly having this argument in my head about having access to everything all the time, and is it good or bad? Facebook Live this, Periscope that, live streaming your excellence in Fortnite from your basement to the internet world. It seems almost endless, and it's kind of mostly crap, but some videos make me see why I like having that access to the streaming world, and one of those was seen just this past weekend, and that's where you and Sherry are called as overall champs at the Open. Someone had a camera on you kind of off to the side and behind, and when Smoky D's is called, that genuine emotion from you and Sherry was absolutely cool to see, because if you're someone who just kind of stalks competition barbecue and you see what you guys have been able to accomplish just over written text or pictures, you might wonder to yourself if winning these type of contests or contests in general have become commonplace to a certain degree. And last weekend, you could clearly see that the third Open title in your collection was a pretty big deal for you two. So a long way of asking, are you able to delineate number 3 with number 2 and number 1, and what do these all mean to you?
Well, they're all special. You know, when it comes back to that video, you know, Tuffy Stone was sitting back behind us. He's the one that caught the original video, you know, and he sat there. He just said, hey, I had a feeling you had 3 calls. I didn't want to jinx you. I wasn't going to tell you about it, but I knew you were going to get that call, you know, so he sat there and, you know, Sherry, as you can see, she was pretty nervous. It was her birthday, you know,
right.
And she had asked for one thing for her birthday, and she just wanted to win the American Royal Open. And since I hadn't bought her any other gifts, I really had no choice.
Man, no pressure, right there?
No pressure. But it was special. I mean, any time you can be on top of the major, it's been special. And I mean, third time there, I mean, just as crazy good as the first time. You know, it's just, I don't know, sometimes it amazes me. It's just a blur of how you pull that off. Just the sheer luck involved with trying to go against 460 some other teams hitting the right tables and being able to get 3 top 15 calls and pull it off is, something still that's blurry in my mind, trying to figure out how odds do that work? How do they work?
Darren, so let's jump into that just for a second. When you talk about, because there's like 2 different sides to this. You have Smokey D's consistency, all the wins, everything that you guys have achieved. Then you look at an event like the Open where you have 460 teams that, 5 or 6 years ago, you were approaching 700 teams or 700 plus teams. So what percentage is this luck that people want to talk about, and what percentage is your program, your excellence, your experience in this stuff? How do they meet, and where do they meet?
Well, I think, there's a ton of luck, and I'm going to guess, 60 or 70% of what we do or anybody does in competition barbecue is luck. I think, there's different things. I think everybody tries to play the flavor game, but we consistently don't play the flavor game. We play the tenderness game, and to me, tenderness wins championships and wins world championships, and that's, my message to all new cooks constantly is quit focusing on what rub or what sauce. It doesn't matter. My famous words to them is give me salt, pepper, and ketchup, and I'll beat you in tenderness every time.
Well, I remember you saying that maybe even 2 years ago when we were talking about how stale flavor profile seemed to have come from, or that buzzword flavor profile started really getting slung around, and you had said, hey, focus on that all you want, and I'm just going to go ahead and beat you because I understand first it's a tenderness game, and then worry about the flavors. Is that something that you think people are picking up finally, or do you still think people are caught up in the flavor?
Oh no, I think there's a lot of it. But then the other thing, becomes the confidence factor, and going into any contest or a big contest like this, I got in the truck on the way down. We were headed down to Kansas City on Wednesday, and I looked over to Sherry and I said, I'm not sure what it is about the American Royal, but my confidence level goes up 10 times over a normal contest. And I'm constantly telling people that's another Darrenism they say is, you can't win if you don't think you can win. And I think that really leads through to the food that you turn in, So if you're confident in your food, and then you're not going to second guess yourself. You're going to make the right decision, even down to as simple as at the Open, and we've struggled a little bit on pork. It's been kind of up and down this year, and we're tearing apart the pork butt. We're tearing apart the pork butts. And, normally we're going to go after some of that bacon underneath the fat and turn in some money muscle. And Sherry says, there just wasn't much bacon. She goes, we got to turn this in. We got to turn it in. And I said, it's a little overdone. I said, we're going to take a different approach. We're going to do a different presentation. We're going to take a different approach because I'm only going to put the greatest thing out of these pork butts in this box, and it paid off for us. We were able to, that kind of saved the day for us a little bit was the 15th place pork call. And it was great pork. I think, I don't know, I didn't taste it, but it was exactly the tenderness I wanted the pieces we turned in. Now, if it would have, a normal thing said, oh, you got to turn in bacon. So we would have grabbed the bacon, and I'm guessing I would have been 150th in pork or 200th in pork. So, it's just those type of decisions and having the confidence to change your way of thinking and get the best stuff in the box every time. That's what wins championships.
Is it safe to say that like the best 3 American Royal Open cooks in recent memory would be you guys, maybe a Chris Marks and a Mike Davis? All you guys have won multiple times, either on the Open or the Invitational side.
Find out what Darren had to say over at the BBQCentralShow.com. The link in today's show notes is taking you to this complete episode. Finally, he did make it in the Hall of Fame. Spoiler alert. Anyway, I'm just at a loss. I'm sitting here thinking about nothing. Just wasting your time, which I apologize for wasting your time. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Go check out the rest of the show. Send me an email. Let me know what you want to hear. John, J-O-N, John at the BBQCentralShow.com. And until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.